Welcome to the Smart Keys podcast.
Glad to be here.
And a huge welcome to you tuning in right now. We are doing an exclusive deep dive today into the future of work, business efficiency, and honestly, just how we actually buy things online now.
Right, because it's changing incredibly fast.
It really is. Today's deep dive is based on this remarkably comprehensive guide by Felix Rummer. It's titled Social Commerce, the Intersection of Shopping and Social Media.
Which you can find published over on smartkeys.org.
Exactly. And if you are a modern professional or a brand owner or even just someone fascinated by where digital behavior is heading, this is basically the strategic playbook you need.
It is an incredibly timely analysis. I mean, we are looking at a fundamental shift in how businesses generate revenue today.
Yeah.
The focus has moved completely away from merely engaging an audience with content. It's shifted directly toward monetizing that attention in the exact moment it's captured.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because we all know traditional e-commerce is kind of, well, it's plagued by friction.
So much friction.
You see an ad, you click a link, you leave the app you were actually enjoying, you wait for a browser to load.
Right, maybe you have to create a brand new account.
You have to dig out your credit card. There are just a dozen points where a buyer can and will just give up.
And social commerce bypasses that entirely.
Yes. It keeps the entire funnel, the discovery, the consideration, and the final checkout natively inside the social media app. It removes the friction completely.
And that removal of friction is translating to staggering numbers, which is really the macroeconomic context for why modern professionals must pay attention right now.
Right, let's hear the numbers.
By 2026, U.S. retail earnings tied specifically to social commerce are projected to hit nearly $80 billion.
$80 billion, wow.
Yeah, and looking at the data from the end of 2024, there were already 110.4 million U.S. social media buyers. Globally, we're talking about over 5.2 billion people spending an average of about 2.5 hours a day on these platforms.
That is a massive captive audience. You aren't just buying billboard space and hoping someone drives by.
Exactly.
You are sitting right there with them for 2.5 hours every single day.
Which establishes my calm but very serious point here. This is no longer just about users scrolling for entertainment.
Right.
This is about businesses turning that daily attention directly into measurable revenue. You are meeting the consumer exactly where they are when their intent or impulse is at its absolute peak.
And allowing them to buy with zero redirection.
The site.
You can't just throw products on the internet and hope for the best. There is a distinct platform playbook here.
Yes, where you play matters just as much as what you are selling.
Because different platforms serve entirely different strategic purposes. So let's break down this playbook. Let's start with Instagram.
Sure, so Instagram is arguably the absolute powerhouse for visual categories. Think fashion, beauty, home decor, lifestyle brands.
It's all about the aesthetic there.
Exactly. The strategy there revolves heavily around reels and stories to show products in motion and in use.
Rather than just static, highly edited photos.
Right. And you utilize product tags to make those posts instantly shoppable. But a massive, often overlooked driver of revenue on Instagram is actually closing sales directly in the direct messages.
In the DMs.
In the DMs. A customer asks a question about a size or a color in a store reply. A brand rep or even an automated flow answers them, sends a direct invoice, and closes the purchase right there in a conversational thread.
That feels incredibly personal. It kind of mimics the experience of talking to a sales associate in a physical store.
It really does.
But then you pivot to Facebook, and it's a completely different landscape.
Oh, totally. Facebook is all about unmatched scale and granular targeting. Facebook reaches roughly 64.6 million U.S. buyers.
That's huge.
The advantage here is inventory scale reach combined with dynamic product ads.
And those are the ads that automatically pull images and pricing directly from your product catalog, right?
Right. To retarget users based on what they've already shown interest in. Furthermore, businesses are utilizing Messenger as a centralized hub for both pre- and post-purchase customer support.
Which significantly cuts down on return rates, I imagine.
Absolutely. And crucially, Facebook integrates MetaPay for a seamless, trusted in-app checkout. The speed and familiarity of that payment system drastically reduce cart abandonment.
Okay, moving on to TikTok. This is basically the king of trend-driven commerce, right? Heavily targeting Gen Z and younger millennials.
Yeah, if a brand wants to capitalize on viral impulse, buys those moments where a product sells out globally in 3 hours, this is the arena.
The strategy relies on those short, highly entertaining videos that hook the viewer in the first 2 seconds.
And TikTok live shopping is incredibly effective here for creating scarcity and urgency.
Right, like a live telethon almost.
Exactly. A brand or a creator hosts a live broadcast, offers limited time discounts that only exist while the stream is active, and it builds community momentum as viewers see others buying in real time.
And they can just tap and check out without ever closing the live video.
Yeah. TikTok also excels with creator affiliate programs. Brands give influencers a commission, which puts skin in the game. And then there is the use of Spark ads.
Actually, let's define that because it's a brilliant feature. Instead of a brand creating a highly polished corporate-looking ad from scratch, they find a creator's organic video about their product that is already going viral naturally.
Right.
And with the creator's permission, they turn that organic, authentic post into a paid ad to amplify it even further. Doesn't feel like an ad. It feels like word of mouth on steroids.
Which completely explains why it converts so highly. Now contrast that chaotic trend-chasing energy of TikTok with Pinterest.
Oh, yeah. Totally different vibe.
The mindset of a Pinterest user is totally different.
Yeah.
It is an environment of intent-rich discovery. People go there specifically to plan things, a room makeover, a wedding, a massive DIY project.
So the strategy has to shift completely for that planner mindset. You have to optimize product pins with highly specific, search-friendly keywords.
Exactly, because users are typing in high-intent queries like mid-century modern green velvet sofa.
It's active searching, not passive scrolling.
And a highly effective tactic for Pinterest is creating themed boards, like seasonal edits or comprehensive gift guides.
Tapping into the psychology of the planner.
Right. When a user is visualizing an entire living room aesthetic, showing them the sofa, the rug, and the lamp together in one cohesive board, naturally encourages them to buy the entire look.
Which directly raises the average order value, or AOV.
Yes, from those inspiration-driven shoppers.
Now here's where it gets really interesting, especially for products that aren't impulse buys. YouTube plays a completely different role in this ecosystem.
It is the home of long-form trust.
Because if someone is buying a $2,000 camera lens or a complex piece of software, they aren't buying it from a 15-second TikTok dance.
No, they need education. And YouTube is ideal for complex or technical products. Brands leverage video to teach, to demonstrate, and to build confidence over a 10 or 20-minute span.
Authentic creator reviews and in-depth tutorial series are incredibly valuable here.
Because they answer complex pre-purchase questions comprehensively. When the buyer finally makes the purchase, they know exactly what they're getting and how to use it.
Which drastically reduces return rates.
Exactly. The tactical application is to connect your catalog so viewers can tap an overlay or a store card. You add shoppable timestamps and on-screen prompts so people know exactly when and how to buy the specific item being demonstrated.
Which brings us to X, formerly Twitter. The focus here is on conversational sales and real-time drops.
It caters to incredibly fast pulses of interest and cultural moments. Urgency is the primary lever on X.
Brands can set up X shops to showcase up to 50 curated products directly on their profile, right?
Yes. But the real revenue driver is flash sale tactics. You use product drops to announce launch dates, run timed threads with clear pricing, limited inventory alerts, and countdowns.
And brands engage in the replies live, answering questions in real time to remove friction and convert that fleeting curiosity into a purchase right there in the moment.
Before the timeline moves on to the next trending topic.
Okay, I have to pause you at the final platform, WhatsApp, because this is positioned as high-touch, one-on-one consultative selling. But honestly, that feels incredibly invasive to me. If I'm messaging my family or close friends, the last thing I want is a brand popping up in my private chat to sell me shoes.
You're spot on. And that's exactly why strict compliance is the absolute backbone of the WhatsApp strategy.
Right?
If a brand does not secure explicit opt-in permission before sending a single message, they will destroy their trust and get blocked immediately.
Okay, that makes sense.
But when that permission is granted, WhatsApp becomes a powerful private space to consult and convert. Brands can publish their entire product catalogs right in the chat interface.
A customer can just scroll through the catalog, see pricing, and ask a human agent specific questions without leaving the conversation.
Exactly. When done ethically and with permission, brands can offer VIP updates for exclusive product drops. They use the conversation history to tailor highly specific suggestions.
Which massively boosts repeat orders and long-term retention.
It does.
But taking a step back and looking at all of this, Instagram tags, Facebook dynamic ads, TikTok live streams, Pinterest boards, YouTube timestamps, X flash sales, and WhatsApp catalogs.
It's a lot.
That sounds like an absolute logistical nightmare. How does a business manage inventory and pricing across 7 completely different native apps without accidentally selling things they don't actually have in stock?
It would be a nightmare without a unified software backend. This is where the concept of unified commerce becomes non-negotiable.
Right.
To execute this businesses, integrate a centralized system like Shopify to serve as the brain of the operation. You create a single source of truth for your entire catalog.
Meaning you aren't logging into 7 different dashboards every morning to manually update how many medium-sized blue shirts you have left.
Exactly. Shopify connects your backend directly to Meta, TikTok, Pinterest, and YouTube through their APIs.
So it's fully integrated.
Your product titles, descriptions, images, pricing, and most importantly, your live inventory levels are continuously and automatically synced across every single platform in real time.
So if someone buys the last blue shirt on a TikTok live stream,
It instantly shows as out of stock on your Instagram shop and your Pinterest board.
wow,
It completely prevents those out-of-stock headaches or pricing mismatches that instantly destroy customer trust.
and it routes all sales into one place.
Exactly. Into one central dashboard, so your fulfillment team handles shipping returns and customer data in one uniform way.
That structural foundation is crucial. Now I want to dive into the psychology of all this. Why does this native, seamless experience actually matter to the buyer? The research presents some wild statistics.
The numbers are fascinating.
89% of people report that video convinced them to buy a product. Even more compelling, 65% of U.S. consumers discovered products they hadn't even intended to purchase, solely through social media algorithms serving it to them.
What's fascinating here is the evolving role of trust as a conversion tool. The era of the polished, faceless corporate advertisement is fading.
It's all about user-generated content and creators now.
Exactly. 76% of consumers made a purchase after seeing a brand post, but simultaneously, 76% of brands report that creator-led ads are their most impactful and profitable placements.
And there's a heavy emphasis on micro-influencers in the text. These are creators usually hovering under 50,000 followers, so they aren't massive celebrities.
Micro-influencers are incredibly strategic because they offer highly concentrated niche trust at a significantly lower cost than a macro-influencer or a traditional celebrity endorsement.
Their audiences are smaller, but deeply engaged.
Right. If a micro-influencer recommends a skincare product, it feels like a recommendation from a knowledgeable friend rather than a paid spokesperson.
But there's a critical warning regarding this dynamic right.
Yes, that trust is incredibly fragile. You cannot take shortcuts. Brands must require strict FTC-compliant disclosures on every sponsored post. The audience needs to know it's an ad.
You must maintain transparent pricing, too. No hidden shipping fees suddenly appearing at the final checkout screen.
You must have easy-to-find, frictionless return policies. And you absolutely must honor those opt-in messaging rules we discussed for platforms like WhatsApp.
Because transparency is what builds the trust, and trust is what builds the sales.
Exactly.
That raises a massive operational question, though. How do businesses actually measure the success of all of this? You've got a customer who watches a TikTok on a Tuesday, saves a pin on Pinterest on a Wednesday, maybe asks a question on WhatsApp on Thursday, and then finally buys through an Instagram ad on Friday.
A very common journey now.
How do you track the return on investment without just getting completely lost in vanity metrics like likes or views?
That is the most critical question for any marketing team. The solution is building a KPI ladder, key performance indicators. You don't just look at the final sale.
Okay.
Views and clicks are the foundation. They are top-of-funnel metrics. Those feed into mid-funnel actions like saves, shares, and adds to cart.
And then those feed the bottom.
Right. Those actions eventually feed into the bottom funnel metrics, the final conversions, and the average order value.
So you're tracking the whole journey step by step so you know exactly where people are dropping off.
And you must track ROAS, return on ad spend, alongside your conversion rate to judge the actual financial efficiency of your marketing dollars.
Right.
To do this accurately across so many platforms, businesses must utilize multi-touch attribution.
Let's clarify how that actually works for a business. Multi-touch attribution means you aren't just giving 100% of the credit to the final Instagram ad that got the click right.
Exactly. You need a software system that maps the entire path, crediting the TikTok video for the initial discovery, the Pinterest board for the consideration, and the Instagram ad for the close.
It shows you the true value of every platform in the mix.
That holistic view is essential. And to maintain the accuracy of that data, there is a strong shift towards server-side tracking.
Because web browsers are increasingly locking down user privacy right. blocking third-party cookies and preventing traditional tracking pixels from firing.
Yes. You can no longer rely on the user's browser to tell you a sale happened. Instead, you have your website server talk directly to Meta or TikTok server behind the scenes to verify the purchase.
Oh, I see.
It keeps your reporting data accurate while respecting the privacy limitations of the browser. You need all of this feeding into a unified dashboard so your marketing, your merchandising, and your support teams are all looking at the exact same signals.
This is such a wealth of strategic information. But looking forward, the research doesn't just analyze what's happening today, it maps out where this is all going.
Oh, it does.
Based on the projections in the source material, what massive shifts are we expecting as we look toward the 2026 horizon?
The primary shift expected by 2026 is the rapid acceleration of unified commerce. The dividing lines between different channels are just going to disappear.
Wow.
A brand's web policy, their app interface, and their in-store systems will merge into a single seamless buying path. We are also going to see a massive elevation in the role of messaging. Currently, 41% of buyers want live chat options when they are shopping. This means chatbots and direct messaging are transitioning from being simple, post-purchase customer service tools into primary pre-purchase conversion engines.
Brands will just route product queries directly into automated purchase-ready flows.
Yes.
And the visual experience of shopping online is also on the brink of a major overhaul. We will see the widespread normalized rise of augmented reality or AR try-ons.
Oh, absolutely. For visual products especially.
Whether it's testing how a specific shade of lipstick looks on your skin tone, trying on virtual glasses, or projecting a 3D model of a couch into your actual living room through your phone camera, AR lowers the hesitation to buy.
It drastically reduces those expensive return rates because the customer can visualize the exact fit and scale before they ever hit the purchase button.
Combine that visual confidence with smoother native in-app wallets that reduce checkout friction to almost zero, and the entire landscape becomes incredibly fast.
Very fast.
So what does this all mean? If you are listening to this deep dive, you might be feeling a little overwhelmed by the sheer number of platforms, the software integrations, and the tracking requirements.
There's a lot to take in.
Let's distill this into a practical U.S. social commerce action plan. What is the immediate takeaway for the listener?
The most strategic piece of advice is this. Do not try to be everywhere all at once. Pick one, maybe two, platforms where your specific target audience already naturally spends their time.
So if you sell power tools, maybe it's YouTube. If you sell cosmetics, it's likely Instagram or TikTok.
Precisely. Once you've chosen those platforms, sync your catalog using a unified system like Shopify. That central catalog must be your single source of truth to guarantee your pricing and inventory are absolutely flawless across the board.
Right. Don't frustrate the customer with out-of-stock items or broken links. Keep the back end clean. And then you focus on making the content shoppable.
Tag your products in every eligible post, reel, or video to cut out the friction. Start small. Run a consistent weekly content cadence that mixes user-generated content with micro-creator partnerships to maintain authenticity.
And track everything.
And finally, measure weekly. Track your view to purchase and your chat to convert metrics so you can confidently scale the specific tactics that actually drive revenue rather than just guessing what works based on vanity metrics.
That is a solid action plan.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, though, looking at this 2026 horizon really makes you wonder about the psychological toll of all this innovation.
Yeah.
When every single entertaining video we watch or every private chat we have online seamlessly doubles as a checkout lane, where does socializing actually end and consumerism begin?
That's a profound point.
When the friction to buy something drops to absolute zero, our self-control and how we navigate our digital spaces are going to be tested like never before.
That is a fascinating and completely necessary consequence to consider. When our digital town square is simultaneously our shopping mall, the internet changes forever. We do have to wrap up this deep dive here, but I want to explicitly thank you, the listener, for tuning in to the Smart Keys podcast today.
Thanks for listening.
Exploring these massive shifts with you is exactly why we do this. Please make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a strategic insight that can help you stay ahead of the curve. And you absolutely must read Felix Romer's full 17-minute article on smartkeys.org to get all the granular sauce details, the compliance rules, and the complete data breakdowns we discussed today.
It's a fantastic read.
We have put the direct link to the article right in the show notes for you. Dive into it, map out your strategy, and we will catch you on the next one.